Christine McVie and John McVie were in the middle of... Well, they were coming towards a divorce, I think. And Mick Fleetwood was going through a divorce with his wife because she had cheated with a member of Fleetwood Mac. Not any of them. Another guy called Bob Weston. So that is a great start to the scenario. So you got two couples that are about to split up and the drummer splitting up because of someone who was in his band. Did you know that Mick Fleetwood and George Harrison were brother-in-law?
Really?
Mad.
I did not know that.
There's an old fact for you now. Every day is a school day. The reason that things were bad between the two McVies was Christine McVie had an affair with the band's sound engineer.
Fuck.
And she divorced John McVie in the middle of a tour, which must have been
tough.
Which must have been fucking rough. John McVie apparently used to get absolutely hammered and run around hotel hallways screaming her name till he had to be like, go away. Yeah, it was gargle hound, absolute gargle hound. So after they divorced, Christine McVie entered a relationship with Fleetwood Mac's lighting engineer.
She's a whore.
Well, hang on, we don't know that.
She might be though,
because John McVie was banging every groupie under
there
the
you go.
sun.
Yeah, that's fair play.
See,
No, we're on even ground there now.
Mick Fleetwood was quoted for saying he basically had a harem in the gaff and it was all blacked out windows and it was just drugs and women for weeks.
Grant, she can do what she wants.
Absolutely. So this is around the time that Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham were not quite breaking up yet because they were about to before they joined the band. Everything seemed to be going alright, but they were constantly arguing. And Christine McVie and Stevie Nicks became really, really close because they just basically were like, all these men are fucking scumbags.
Yeah, of course.
And they probably were.
Of course they were. This is late 70s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, have at it.
And at one stage, Mick Fleetwood had an affair, I think, with Stevie Nicks. On the road. Big lad.
Jesus
big,
Christ.
warm, tender arms. Makes you feel comfortable.
Not
that I've ever thought about that.
I always assumed that, like, if you're in a band, you had, like, a couple of women and a couple of men in the band. No matter if they're in relationships or not, it's just going to get hairy.
I don't know, man, because some people go into it like they're my brother and sister now, and I'm too close. You can be too close.
Maybe, but I think, like, I don't know. Maybe at the start you got this kind of professional distance.
Porn, by the way.
Huh?
Sorry, you actually would have masked it by talking. I was like, that's me pouring.
Oh yeah, porn. Yeah, drink. Yeah, we're drinking different things tonight.
You're right, though, in the same sense that, like, hotel rooms getting absolutely smashed out of it all the time.
Well, I think what's going to happen is that eventually
a fluke falls into it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think eventually what will happen is you'll just kind of settle into this routine where, you know, once they fart in front of you, you're like, all right, that's me brother and my sister. But like before that, you're going to have the peacock dance for a little while, I think, you know. Yeah. So who knows? Between that kind of professional courtesy of, okay, what time is the gig at and what time is sound check? And we're up at 8 a.m. because everyone getting into a band at the start is going to be, okay, chop, let's do this correct. Then after a couple of months of being on the road, it's going to be, fuck, I'll go on the piss. Who wants to go on the piss with me? You want to come on the piss? Or your husband wants us to go back because he's tired? Okay, well, you come with me. And then all of a sudden...
Maybe.
You know
Especially
what I mean?
if you're Fleetwood Mac, yeah.
Yeah.
So... I think they had an album called Fleetwood Mac though before Rumours. I'm pretty sure they did. But let's talk about Rumours. So Rumours, I think they started recording it in 76, and they were basically all round except for the McVies, who just didn't talk to each other. So you can't rail if you don't talk to each other. John McVie and Lindsey Buckingham didn't get on at all, and there was fist fights there and people throwing vodka in each other's faces and all during the... Now they had what is now known as the famous velvet bag of coke.
Really?
The whole band just had one big velvet bag of coke recording that behind the sound desk. And
cannonball of coke.
When they were finished, everybody stood back and was, fuck. That's fucking mad, yeah.
A cannonball of coke. A velvet bag of fucking cocaine.
The lyrics were another issue as well.
Really?
Because they were writing lyrics for the other person to sing about themselves and the other person. And they were just straight up doing... I don't know how... Apparently people kept asking, how did this go on? And apparently Mick Fleetwood was there holding it all together going, no, let's get this album done. But it was like one of the most traumatic experiences for like...
Doesn't sound it. Like when you listen to the album is perfect.
No, so like if you think about the Rumour, something like you say you want your freedom, well, who am I to keep you down? That was when I think Lindsey Buckingham wrote that about, like, you know, let her go. He had a few lyrics about her sleeping around, which she had to sing while disagreeing with it. And then she would write a lyric, or this might have been Lindsay Buckingham, one thing you should know, I ain't gonna miss you when you go. We have to sing that every night.
Every
all
night.
the time, yeah.
On an tour across the world.
Yeah, and that's Rumours is the 10th highest selling album of all time, so top 10 of all time in number to
I would have thought it'd be higher than top 10.
I would have thought as well. Number
Probably like
10.
top 5 or
I really
6.
would have, yeah. But then again, you got
Who doesn't have a copy of that? Like,
yeah, I thought it would have been. ABBA Gold was probably shouldn't be considered an
It's a
album.
comp.
Exactly, but it
Yeah.
always is. Thriller.
I don't own ABBA Gold, and I don't own Thriller.
Well, I own a few ABBA albums. I've got ABBA Gold on
I have a couple of Super Trooper or something.
The reason I don't buy ABBA Gold is because I don't really like ABBA's greatest hits.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So there's been things that happened after the lineup changes. There was a stage where Lindsay Buckingham and Stevie Nicks left, came back, and then a couple of years ago, not even a year, about a year ago, Lindsay Buckingham was fired again before the tour. You know, they came here and they got Neil Finn of Crowded House to join. In his place.
He's a fucking mercenary.
Of course he is. His American name, yeah. No one's going to listen. Oh, people would still listen to Crowded House. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Crowded House.
Fucking
I think everybody does.
Fucking
A little
Woodface,
bit.
man. What an album.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah, Woodface.
Don't care. What a fucking album.
Is that the one with Private Universe on it and Pineapple Head?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's so good, man.
so he stepped in, and Lindsay Buckingham, I lost a few interviews, he's suing them.
Really?
But then we have to remember another quick little mini story about Fleetwood Mac is Peter Green used to be the kind of band leader and main guy in Fleetwood Mac. When Rumours came out, the back catalogue of Peter Green Fleetwood Mac stuff started to sell massively.
Really?
Because of the interest in it. And he didn't want any of the money. And his accountant kept sending him checks for like 30 grand until Peter Green went in to his accountant's office with a shotgun, pointed at him and goes, "Don't send me another fucking penny of this money."
Really?
Mad.
Doesn't want it.
He wanted to be a graveyard digger. Grave
Get
digger.
the fuck out of here. He
Now-
wanted to be a fucking gravedigger.
Yeah, just do regular jobs. I think he was a mechanic at one, possibly a mechanic at once. No, I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah, so he didn't want any of that money. He said, keep that fucking money away from me. He's one of these people that genuinely thinks money is evil and stuff like that.
Really?
At the time. Now, he
I
was
wish I had that gene.
soon after that, he was committed to a mental institution.
Oh, yeah, well, I wish I didn't have that gene then.
Yeah. Did you know he's still alive?
Really?
Peter Green is still. I thought he was dead. I honestly thought Peter Green was dead. He's still alive and was
to ask you why.
doing gigs up until like 5 years ago, I think, as far as I know.
In the fucking voodoo lounge of a Monday night, like.
doing Fibbers and the Mez.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? Do you remember that? Can I tell you about my... And all I can think about is that car smashing that kid
ad
over.
when you were a kid. Fucking
Disgusting.
cars mincing children over.
So look, that's a brief synopsis of the beef, Rumours era beef of Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood fucking Mac. Wood Fleetwood Mac Wood Fleetwood.
Remember those ads? I was only watching them today and thinking about them. Ron Seals and Thompsons.
Oh, yeah.
Thompsons, we're going to go, boy Thompsons, if you don't like it, fuck you and your wife and
Yeah.
your fucking ma.
Yeah.
You piece of shit. Fuck you.
Wasn't it Ron Taylor does exactly what it says in the tin? Is
Yeah,
that
but
that
I
one?
always thought it was then until someone was showing me, I think it was Linda was showing me lately, one of those videos, and I was like, fuck, it was Thompson's that was the aggressive one. And Ron Seal was just, it's a bit
Yeah.
aggressive, but not quite aggressive as Thompson's.
No.
Goes,
Yeah.
don't come crying to me when your gaff falls apart, you piece of shit. Holy, relax.
There's so many brands that don't exist
So
anymore.
yeah, Fleetwood, Macwood,
Fleetwood.
Who's your next beef?
My next one is Courtney Love versus Dave Grohl.
That's a long term. Oh, yeah.
Fuck me.
Where Dave Grohl pretends to not be into it at all, but he's mad into it. Who's your skeeving? And what else is he?
What?
What else is he?
Dave Grohl, I'm not saying. But he might be a bit ropey. I
We
think,
almost had a podcast there where we
Yeah.
didn't talk about it.
I still to this day think he's ropey. How do you even start with this? So I couldn't pick a Foo Fighters song because I fucking hate Foo Fighters. I hate them so much. I hate them. So I picked the Probot song, which is shite as well.
But not as shite
It's
as...
not as shite as Foo Fighters. Shake Your Blood featuring Lemmy. Like, it's garbage. It's fucking. It's obviously written by Dave Grohl, who just done his best Motorhead impression because he was getting Lemmy on the song, and it's just it's like It's like what a Jack Daniels bottle sounds like.
It actually is,
isn't it? It's just
and dog tags
and Pantera t-shirts. It's just it's fucking.
I remember when that came out and everyone was going mad for it.
Everyone listened to it. I was like,
I said that is no, that flatters to deceive. Sit down in 5 years and no one's talking about that Probot album now. Like, it was big, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but it was a big super group.
It's not
you know,
fucking Temple of the Dog. It's not anything like that. So
it's not good. But like, so Courtney and Dave Grohl, I picked Hole, Teenage Whore.
I like most Hole songs.
Most Hole,
because there's not many.
Well, the reason I picked Teenage Whore is because Dave Grohl gave an interview once, and he said, my favourite Hole song is Teenage Whore because I know she definitely wrote it, just to get a little dig into her.
Not the fucking charming, nice, no beef guy you would think.
Oh no!
Although it's a good comeback. It's a good comeback. You gotta give that comeback out of 10. That's an 8.
Now they never really liked each other, but they kicked it into overdrive after Kurt died.
Yes.
Right? This became a massive fucking bone of contention between the remainder of Nirvana and Courtney Love. There was murder over royalties and merchandise sales and all this kind of shit. She was always calling Dave Grohl, because Dave Grohl was like the mouthpiece for like Chris Novoselic and fucking whoever else was doing the rounds. Pat Smear, I don't think he really had a say in it, really.
Pat Smear.
He never really had a say in it. But she was always going off on Grohl.
Pat Smear is not going to say a thing when that check is coming in.
No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't his band.
I remember, you're right, she was always going off on him.
Oh, forever. Because he was the only one with the mouth. Do you know what I mean? She's a mouthpiece, he's a mouthpiece.
The purse strings, I think, was involved as well, with the rights and stuff like that.
So, basically what happened was, she ended up bringing Nirvana to court. So she's forever calling Dave Grohl a fucking stupid motherfucker and a faker and just gonna coast it along on Kurt's fucking coattails.
Still not as bad as what you've said about him, but yeah.
Yeah, nowhere near as bad as what I'd say about him. Like, if I was in Courtney Love's corner there, I would have won. So she brought the remainder of Nirvana to court. They had this weird agreement where she basically became the inheritor of Kurt Cobain's estate. So she became Kurt Cobain's voice in all matters to do with Nirvana. So that meant that every time there was like a box set coming out or a reissue, she had to be consulted, and she got Kurt's chunk of the royalties and percentages. She took things one step further by bringing all Nirvana to court and tried to prove that they were essentially session musicians and that Kurt done everything. And she tried to get the whole thing, like all of their rights and royalties dissolved for all future Nirvana, I nearly said it like
Nirvana.
Like,
do you like Nirvana?
For all future Nirvana releases and re-releases and box sets and fucking live and all this type of shit. So touring into this whole big fucking thing.
This whole big thing.
She said that the other two were essentially hired guns. The lawsuit was settled. So I think it was around 2011, 2012 it was settled. Now, I couldn't find much online about in which direction.
You can never do, because they don't want people to know that.
They must seal those results.
And a lot of them do not speak about this at all.
Oh yeah, they absolutely have non-disclosures attached to it. Now, what I will say is that in 2014, Nirvana were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Courtney Love introduced the band on stage and hugged them and kissed them and fucking all this kind of shit. Now, whether that was the beef kind of squashed or whether that was the
squash
public,
the beef.
Yeah, squash.
You can't stop thinking about when Eminem said that.
I can't do it. Squash the beef. Squash the beef. Look what I'm planning.
Come on, let's do it. No, we can't.
No.
We can't do that. If anyone wonder what we're doing, it's that Chris D'Elia version of Eminem. Check out Chris D'Elia's impression of Eminem if you haven't seen it. It's so good, outrageous. Even Eminem liked it.
He's done it twice in songs.
Yeah, in his songs.
He's actually taken the YouTube lyrics and turned them into a song. So,
so
2014, it might be over.
Do you know what helped and hindered it as well? Was I think Dave Grohl is Francis Bean's godfather or something like that, and they've had a real close relationship.
Yeah.
Closer than you'd like.
I don't think he's into girls. I'm not even lying. Every time he pulls a child up on stage to play guitar or drums with the Foo Fighters, it's a little boy. It's a little boy. He's forever
sexist.
He's a sexist pedo. Every single, Every single video. You can't escape Facebook. Like, if you go on Facebook and you're just rooting around, every fucking week, Dave Grohl pulls young boy out of crowd, and a little kid with mohawk, and they give him a fucking guitar. Yeah. They give him like a Firebird or something like that, and he plays.
And oh my God, did you see him? Dave Grohl broke his leg, and he just went out and toured. Let me